Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Kate Mullen, and you are back with another episode of Boomer Nation. We're really happy that you're here today. And since we had such a great time talking to Dr. Zach Kouloughi, naturopathic doctor here in Texas, I wanted to have a chance to bring him back again. And I think we're going to bring you back a lot, Zach, because I just like talking to you. Tell everybody hello, Dr. Zakaria Kouloughi, naturopathic doctor in Round Rock, Texas.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me, Kate.
You bet. So it was such a great conversation the other day. One of the things I want to talk about today, and we can get more in depth on it, but I'm really interested in your thoughts on how food and beverage and an awareness of your body functions contributes to a better life and thereby a better life, essentially anti-aging. How does food and beverage and a happy lifestyle, from your perspective? Now, we know we want to remember you're a specialist in Reams theory of biological ionization, which is a saliva and urine test that can give you results on the health of your organs. So you're not just a regular naturopathic doctor. You are a more specialized naturopathic doctor that talks in terms of energy. Give us a little bit of a preface on your scope of practice with Reams biological theory to naturopathy and how it relates to your background in mechanical engineering.
Yes, I started out as an engineer. I worked for years as engineers. We're more focused into solving problems. So once I got into naturopathic medicine, we studied herbs, supplement, all that, but it didn't give me the juice that I was looking for. I wanted to be able to measure. And one science that was very empirical that gave me the opportunity to measure is the Reams biological theory of ionization. So we don't make symptoms out of thin air. We measure. We see concrete data, and based on those data, we make an assessment of what the health is. That regardless, you may look great just because probably you put on a little bit of makeup or something. You may give me a look that you're great, but when I look at numbers, I know that whether you are truly feeling great or feeling not good. Back to anti-aging. Think of it this way: someone who is healthy by our standards, so we know what those numbers are. So his numbers fluctuate between a certain parameters. So if he goes beyond those parameters, then we know that health is failing, meaning that they are losing energy more than they should. Every day we lose energy. It's just part of the biological process, part of us, a human being, age until we die. But there is an optimum level of energy that is lost every day. So if we lose a little bit more than we should, then it means that we're aging faster. And we can determine how fast we are aging based on how much energy we're losing every day. And yes.
And by energy, you're talking about literally life force energy. Is that true?
There's two sort of energy that we look for. There's the readily available energy, which is provided by your carbohydrate, which is it's accessible to you right now. And there's also another form of energy that we call reserve energy. And this is the most important one. So if, let's say, you are tapping into a lot of your reserve energy, you are aging very fast.
Because you've already depleted your stored energy.
Yes, yes.
Wow. And so how does knowledge of the body's organs or nutrition and fluids affect that depletion of life force energy or increase the life force energy?
So how do we start affecting our body? Simple stuff. Let's say I don't drink enough water. We're affecting our body. I have a limited diet. I'm affecting my body. I am doing too much. I'm affecting my body. Simple stuff that we have control over. But we think that something is more important than other things, and therefore I get into a trend of eating the same food, same limited food every day, even though if it's expensive food, that regardless how much you buy it. But if your diet is limited, you're affecting your body. If you eat more than you should, you're affecting your body. If you eat less than you should, you're affecting your body. That's regardless of the quality of the food or something. Just saying, you eat quality food, but you eat too much, you're affecting your body.
If you're getting too little sleep, you're affecting your body. If you're experiencing or allowing yourself to have too much stress, you're affecting your body.
Yes.
So,
So it's about, that was something actually that happened to me a few years ago. I had too many things to do, and I thought I was a high performer. I wanted to do those things, so my day started very early morning, and I was boom, 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 going from one thing to the next. All of a sudden, my body breaks down, and how it does it, I started getting dizzy. And I didn't know that before I studied naturopathic and all that. So I was wondering what that dizziness was coming from. So I started going from a doctor to doctor. They test my vitals, everything, to tell me there's nothing wrong with you. I don't see anything wrong with you. Yet I was getting dizzy. And I just figure out, and they say, all you do is just rest a little bit and we'll see. So just by resting, I was feeling better. I just realized I was doing too much. Then, people started calling me, well, we don't see as much here and there. And I was just like, I just realized I burn out. I pushed my body more than I should have, and I paid the price. And I have to pay attention to what I'm doing. And I'm as a human being, my health is not invincible. It can break down anytime, so I have to pay attention to that.
Well, especially in our 50s and 60s, I think that's really wise advice. And now, I thank God, Zach, how long have we known each other? A couple of years. We've been working together a couple of years. And I think I have not been tested by you yet. And I think I need to get tested, and I want to get tested. And you know what the thing is? And I think that other people might have this same thought as well, because you can tell right off the bat, within a few weeks or hours, what the situation is, right? So
next 30 minutes.
30 minutes to find out what situation you're in. So I don't want to know that I'm going to die. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, you've touched upon an interesting subject, because I thought that the science help you extend your life, and it does in some way. Let's put it this way. If, let's say, you're having a healthy life and you're not violating your body, so I would say when time comes, you will just go. Versus if you're abusing your body, you have a disease, and before you expire, you've gone through 3 or 4 years of cancer, or 5 or 10 years of cardiovascular disease. So which one you want? And at some point I thought, and we see this a lot, if you do this, then you will live to 100 years, 120 years. I was naive. I thought of it for a second. That could be done, but it doesn't mean if you have a healthy life, then you will live to 120. So it doesn't work like that. But what's guaranteed, what I can guarantee you, you won't have an illness. You won't have a disease. When you die, you would die in your sleep.
Wow. And I think that's how everybody wants to go, is happy and in their sleep. Wow. So you know what? I'm gonna come and get tested. I'm gonna come and get tested, and then and I don't mind talking about it on the show. I don't mind talking about it on the show.
Who gets scared to get tested?
Say again. Say again.
The mother gets scared to get tested because she's afraid I find out something. Then she will have to get into a regimen which she doesn't like to change her pattern of food.
I do love my coffee, and you know how I am about sweet tea. I'm a Texan to the bone. I got a sweet tea going right here, over here now. And I know I'm doing all these terrible things, but I don't really overall don't drink. I have an occasional glass of wine every now and then, but I don't like the effects. So I don't drink. I've never done hard drugs. Well, I did. I had my time on cocaine for 2 years, like a million years ago, probably back in my 20s. Um, I don't drink a lot. I don't do drugs. I have a very stressful life, but it's getting better. And I have trouble. I have had trouble sleeping, but fortunately, the information you gave me about sleeping, which is going to be another program we're going to do, was so huge, Zach. When I don't sleep, I can stop and identify why I didn't sleep. And if I wake up at 3 in the morning, I know it's because of that bowl of ice cream I had at 8 o'clock that night, or that glass of chocolate milk I had right before I went to bed. You know, but okay, so you make me feel better, and I think that you're right about having a good attitude about getting tested when you're not sick, and that way you can avoid being sick or getting catastrophically ill.
And let me tell you some true stories. One day I was in a convention. I was trying to bring this science to the general public. So I was in a specific convention that probably had 20,000 people. So so there was some people who wanted to check me out, see if it's the true deal or not. So I found out, so the people who came to be tested, they found out a lot about themselves. I gave them more information than their physician told them about. But there was also a bad or a sad part to it, is that I was able to find out there was a lot of people who, there was actually not a lot, but among those people, there were 3 of them that were developing cancer and did not know it.
Oh my God.
And I'm not able to diagnose. We're in the state of Texas. People like myself don't diagnose. So it's just one of those things.
How did could you let them know anything about that? Was there any way you could tell them?
No, I don't. You see, my job is not to make people worry. I want to raise some concerns, but I don't want people to worry, because if I told you, think of it this way: if I told you you have cancer, all right, and you decided not to do something about it, probably just the fact you thought you have cancer will connect in your mind was like, okay, I'm dying, therefore I am dying, which is not true.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But perhaps for someone who believes in certain modalities of allopathic medicine, that yes, you're gonna go or something, yet I can help with that. But if you are open to new options, then the outcome could be different. You want to try something different. And what's interesting is that one of the things that I've noticed, that the reason why people do not recover is that they're not disciplined enough, because they are so used to their donut. I'm not suggesting that you should not eat donuts in life or something, but for that specific period, you are recovering. Avoid all the things that are harming you, and this is the things that I've found difficult for people to do. Change their and I've done it myself. It's difficult, after you've spent a lifetime, 40, 50, 60 years of eating the same thing, enjoying your bacon and eggs and so on, and somebody has some bozo like myself tells you avoid to eat bacon. That's I'm not willing to make those changes. So
everybody loves bacon.
Yeah, and since we're talking about pork is actually the one food that makes a person loses most energy than anything else.
Oh wow! And tell me,
So
you told me about.
The worst thing that you want to do is eat pork.
And tell me why.
Because it just causes you to your energy to drop. It's just something we notice. It's. I mean, I can't. I don't want to talk about the biological, physiological aspect.
Hold on, let me ask you something. Drops to not regain.
No,
so
no, no,
every time you eat pork, you're dropping your life force energy.
No, to regain. So, for example, if you ate bacon today, I will be able to see it in your numbers, and up until 6 days, for 6 days. So if, let's say, you ate bacon today, but the next day you didn't eat bacon, the following day you didn't eat bacon, it will still show until the 6th day. It will come out of your body, or at least I can see that in the numbers after the 6th day. So it will show. So and pork is not, it's not just one. There are so many, and people are different, but I can list chocolate is one of them. Nuts are one.
What? Chocolate's what?
Chocolate make
What?
you lose,
Makes
causes
you
you
lose energy?
yeah, it causes you to lose energy.
Nuh-uh. How
Yeah.
can you say
So
that, Zach?
not suggesting you have a little bit of chocolate, but if you have a pattern of eating chocolate every day, it will catch up with you. Trust me. Again, to some plus or minus, because we made up differently. Every person is different, but I'm speaking generalities. It will catch up with you.
So it's like the adage was nothing in excess, all things in moderation.
Yes, but I would say there are certain things that you should avoid taking too much of. There are so many delicious things out there. We just need to get used to them. That's all.
Are you a proponent
Even
of
simple stuff. You know, my wife, she was a lot into soda. She's still a lot into soda. My children were following that pattern, so I was able to influence it. You know, there's a lot of things that probably could taste better. So what I did, just do like I freeze bananas. I mix bananas with skim milk. I add cranberries to it, and it just makes a delicious drink. And you know, now they get used to those drinks versus drinking soda. So now they hardly drink any soda at all. So that is so. Sometimes just we do things out of laziness, just because so convenient to just grab a bottle of soda from a fridge and drink it, and it give us that satisfaction. Versus, oh, I have to get the blender out of the pantry and get the banana. Frozen banana is just so cold and burning, and what I have to go through that painful process.
right.
So
That's a good idea, though. That's a real good idea. You know, I was reading recently, and I think I was telling you about this, where somebody had quantified the energy, the life force energy in foods, and saying that packaged foods had zero life force energy, and agriculturally, industrially, agribusiness type vegetables and fruits had a minimum amount of energy. Locally grown vegetables and fruits and meats produced had an exceptional amount of energy. And then superfoods, which I'm not really sure what a superfood is, had a whole lot of energy. Do you subscribe to that gradient of life force energy in foods?
to some extent, yes, but I don't agree 100% with it. This is where I'm coming from. When you say homegrown food, soil is the source. So is the soil is well mineralized or not? Because if the soil is not well mineralized, then those nutrients will come into you. If the soil is not well mineralized, then your food is not mineralized. Then you're not getting enough energy. So the of everything is the soil.
Chemically treated soil, or does it need to be naturally treated soil, naturally enhanced, like a soil booster or something?
No, it's let's not talk about chemically, not, because the term could be misleading and could allude to something that could be understood negative, to where it may not be negative. When I say nutrient, is basically what that, for example, that particular soil need for that particular fruit. That's all. So how do we know, or in agriculture, how do we know a soil is good or not? So you get your fruit or your vegetable. You measure the bricks, which is the content of the carbohydrate in the highest level of bricks. The higher bricks you have in a food, the higher quality your food or vegetable is.
But how do you judge that?
The more carbohydrate that sugar has, your food is better quality. This said, this brings me to another topic. For example, let's say we are in Texas and we compare Texas and California. If you have a carrot is sweet. If you have a carrot grown in California, it will have more higher bricks than a carrot grown in Texas. And therefore, a carrot grown in California will be much higher quality than a carrot food, even though you live in Texas and your carrot is grown in Texas. Now, unless you do something different, you know what a carrot needs and you treat your soil accordingly.
Then your food is healthier and has the nutrients. So it's as So what you want to know, how do you determine what the healthiest fresh food is to eat?
So I understand this can get really overwhelming.
Well, I'm trying to establish this because we're moving into talking about anti-aging. And the main thing about anti-aging is retaining as much life force energy as you possibly can. Is that correct?
Yes.
So in that effort, so we're trying to come around to how do we ensure that we're getting the most life force energy out of the foods we're eating?
Well, have a variety of food. That's where you can make sure your body is having most nutrient. Because let's assume, just for sake of example, you're eating apples and you don't know that your apples are fully mineralized or not. So let's say you're in diet eating apples, you think apples are giving you the energy you need, and therefore maybe those apples are not the greatest, let alone they don't have all the nutrients you need, and therefore your body will be deficient. So how do I know that I'm fully mineralized? Simple. Instead of having an apple, I'm having a quarter of an apple, a quarter of a pear, a few grapes, that kind of thing. Simple. Create a variety, and that's going to be your lifestyle. And that's how you can guarantee you have all the nutrients.
And Zach, I mean, to use me again as an example, overall, I probably eat the same maybe 8 or 10 foods over and over and over and over and over and over. Because it's like I love cottage cheese and fresh fruit, right? And then I put like the little crispy onions and the crispy jalapenos in it for the crunch. And I love that. And I mean, I have blood sugar issues, so it's an easy protein fix, right? And it's sweet, but not real sweet like ice cream. I mean, there's a lot of reasons that I eat it, but I eat it all the time, right? So even if we're eating healthy foods, protein foods, not, packaged prepared foods, which I guess that is, but it isn't. Is that still bad? I mean, because I'm like eating for protein. I'm not necessarily eating for variety.
No. I don't know why. I mean, you're eating for protein, and if you were a bodybuilder or something, I could understand. Even though I don't recommend eating a lot of protein, because we just don't need that much protein. Plus, if proteins are not processed well in your body, they will turn into nitrates, and that will cause some heart issues. So as far as food, if let's say you're eating the safe food, I hope it's not the 1 or 2 foods. If you're having, let's say you have your variety is composed of 10 foods and you eat them all the time, that's fine. As long as your body is fully mineralized, that's fine. And one way we find that out is through tests. When we do a test, we know whether your diet is limited or not.
Wow. So the Reams theory of biological ionization, saliva and urine test can tell us how much energy is currently in our organs and body and how to enhance that energy through the advice of a naturopath that's familiar with the process.
Yeah.
So now we're taking this life force energy that we've just gained a lot of, because now we're eating healthy vegetables and fruits, and we're slacked off the sugar, we're slacked off the pork, we're not eating any packaged or prepackaged things. It's all fresh and ideally homemade. So how does this life force energy affect us in anti-aging ways? How does the life force energy affect us in anti-aging ways?
Well, you'll be surprised. Look, let's assume you're eating moderately, which means if you were overweight, then all of a sudden you're not depriving yourself, but your weight drops. So now let's for sake of example, you exert or utilize 2 units to carry your body from point A to point B. And all of a sudden now you need 1 unit to carry your body from point A to point B. And then you have that extra unit left in you. So just wait. When we overweight, not only that it affects our thought, we're not thinking rationally, but we need more energy to carry ourselves.
Wow.
So think of it in those terms. Now, you are aging at an optimum rate. Let's say you're losing before you became conscious of this, you were aging at the rate of 5 units a day, and all of a sudden you are aging at 1 unit a day. So instead of, let's say, becoming sick at the age of 50 and perhaps dying at the age of 60, then all of a sudden you don't get sick, and then perhaps you would die at 60, perhaps 70, perhaps 80, perhaps 90. I don't know. So
but your quality of life is better.
I would not, knowing what I know today, I would not tell you you will live up to 120 days, because 20 years, because I don't know that for a fact. And I have examples of people who were following their diet and keeping optimum rate. They die in their sleep, but didn't get sick, but they died. When their time came, they died. So, but the beauty of it, you don't die because you are sick or you're taken to a nursing home, then you are doing things on your pants and somebody clean you up and all the drama that goes with it. God forbid, we hope nobody gets into that that situation. When our time comes, we just go and that's it. And that's
the way it's intended, isn't it? I mean, to have a long, healthy life and go in peace and not have an unhealthy demise and a drop into death.
What I would say, you would have more probability to live longer. You will not get sick, period. You will have more probability to live longer. That's, I mean, unless in your family there's some genetic issue that no matter what will catch up with you, then yes, you will get sick and there's nothing can be done about it. But that's not, think of it as the main thing or as the maximum, but it's just the minor thing. It will just affect less than 1% of the people.
So the summary of that is, you're going to go when you're going to go. We don't know when that is. You know, like they say, the Lord comes like a thief in the night. You're going to go when you're going to go. However, by knowing your body's numbers, by paying attention to what you're eating, by limiting your sugar, by limiting your bad foods like pork that takes so long to digest and pulls so much energy out of your body, you're moving into the next phase of life or the other side from a healthy perspective.
Yes.
So if that's what happens in your body in the invisible, then what happens to your body in the physical? How does having this extra life force energy enhance your body, your look, because I mean, we're talking to a lot of women here. So we've enhanced our life force energy and we're eating better and we're making things at home. So what can we expect from drinking more water or better water and eating right and no sugar and no pork and a variety of rainbow foods? What can we expect the physical attributes to be like?
Well, wrinkles. In my line of work, someone who has a wrinkle, or how do you call the forehead? How do you call the forehead things?
Furrows?
No. The lines here kind of just slipped away. How do you call the lines?
I don't know. Wrinkles.
Okay, wrinkles. Okay, let's call them forehead wrinkles.
I
forgot. I can't think of it. I can't think anymore. The forehead wrinkles, anyways. For us, we call that internal stress. When we see that, for us, it has a direct connotation with stress on the heart and cardiovascular disease. So it's simple. you eat well. Let's say you know what you're doing, because we have to define what is eating well and by the numbers. So let's say you're following the recommendations, and all of a sudden, if let's say you were supposed to have those wrinkles at the age of 35 or 40, then perhaps they will not appear up until the age of 55 or 60. See, that's part of aging faster. I told you you are dumping more energy, and therefore you are aging. And part of the signs of aging is the wrinkles.
Can you reverse them?
If you can, yeah, absolutely, you can reverse them. Yes,
Wow.
you can reverse them, but that's depending how hard you have abused your body, and what your age and how long it's going to take you. Because if let's say you started a destructive lifestyle early on in your process, and then at the age of 45 or 50 decided to turn your life around and become disciplined, it's different than someone who is 70, because there's something we need to talk about. When you are 20 years old, you will use 1 unit of minerals to create 1 unit of energy. When you are 40, you are using 2 unit of minerals to create 1 unit of energy. No, let's put it. When you are 20, you're using 1 unit of energy to create 1 cell. Okay. When you are 40, you are using 2 units of energy to create that same 1 cell.
Wow.
When you are using 3 units of energy to create 1 cell. But this is how it works. You say to yourself, well, if I want to catch up, let me eat more so I can utilize more. If you eat more, then you're going to overwhelm your body, because your body cannot handle it. Then you fall into another problem. Now you are stressing more energy, causing you to lose more energy. So there is an optimum way to how life, nature heals you.
Interesting.
But one thing you need to know is that we change the entire cells in our body more or less in 6 months. There are some cells we change in a week or 10 days. But there are some cells that we change in over 6 months. But let's say, generally speaking, after 6 months, we have changed the entire cells in our body. So let's
say, different person.
Yes, you are a different person. So let's assume I test your energy today, and your energy is at 50%. Okay, we're trying to bring numbers in here to make things more measurable. You are disciplined. You said today I become disciplined. So the next day you are creating your cells, but the cell you are creating the next day, because you've been disciplined, it will have more energy. Let's say 0.1% more, and the next day it's 0.2% more, and so on and so forth. So by the end of 6 months, you have created a new cell. I don't want to say it's 100% great cell, but I would say you created a cell that, let's say, 15% better than the old cell.
And therefore vibrating at a higher life force energy.
Then another 6 months, you are disciplined. Then in a matter of a year and a half, you can turn your life around, and you're able to, all of a sudden, you cannot even explain, oh, should all of a sudden, because these changes, you don't feel them, because they happen in a very tiny, bitty things, and you look at it over a long period of time, and the numbers of cells that exist in your body, and then over a period of a year and a half, you're a totally different person. And but if let's say you take a picture of yourself and speak to yourself today, say, okay, today my name is Kate, I'm this age, I feel tired, I cannot work out even though I have a desire, but I can't. and you film yourself a year from now, and you say, I'm so and so, and I work out every day and so on, and you look at your year ago video and just, wow, that was the person I was a year ago. Why I speak for this is it's something that happened to me, and I'm telling you, I was not disciplined when I started making the changes. I was not disciplined. I still started eating the stuff that I was not supposed to eat, but very moderately, once in a blue moon, because you miss your whatever it is, your coffee, your tea, whatever. And I would say I started feeling changes after 4 months, 5 months. After I started noticing the changes, not being able to work out, I realized I was able to work out now. After so many years, I think like a 25-year-old. If a 25-year-old kid come to me and say, "Could you play a soccer game?" I'm a goer, man. I'm going. Yeah.
Right.
So it's.
Wow, Zach, this is really interesting stuff. So, in sum, we're gonna all try to drink more water, eat a rainbow of foods, learn about Reams' theory of biological ionization, and ideally get tested. And we can talk about how that can be done and where you can find a practitioner. And the whole point in the first step is reversing aging is to increase your life force energy. That's the first and foremost thing. Would you say?
Yes, which is basically produce a better cell. So a cell you have today, it's not the cell that you're going to have tomorrow, because the cell you have today is affected by the food, but also by the thought. Thought is also energy. Don't forget that.
Mm-hmm.
So you think poor thought, you will have poor energy. It's just a matter of time. And you think good thought, you will have great energy. It's not going to show the next hour, the next day, but you do it consistently over a period of a week or 10 days or 20 days, you will be a different person.
I bet you're right. And just the increase in life force energy, I bet would even make people.
So it's something we didn't talk about. Be careful of what you think, because that will cause you. In fact, Dr. Reams says the greatest source of cancer is emotional, is the thought we entertain every day, the thought of resentment, the thought of hate. Because when you hate, you're not operating in a vacuum. There are waves, there are things that cause you to think a particular way. So when you think thought of hate, it's affecting how the body is reacting. And therefore, if let's say you were supposed to have, in a normal situation, you were supposed to have, let's say, 5 units of energy a second. By you entertaining poor thought, you will have 4 or 3 or 2 or 1 unit of energy per second.
And therefore introducing your body's low vibration to access disease rather than happiness. Wow, God dog. Zach, you're amazing. I can't wait to talk to you again. So tell us how people can get a hold of you.
They can go online, www.drzak.us. They can contact my agent if they want a personal one-on-one consultancy. And I'm working out a deal with the pharmacy to where we will provide a program, not just testing services, but a program to where people who believe they have failing health or they want to enjoy more energy, we can put them in this program to where they become, hopefully, if they're disciplined, they become very vibrant again.
And it is all about the discipline. It's absolutely all about the discipline. And I know that absolutely for sure. And you've told me stories where you busted people on them not following the protocol. So that's the key. So your email is drzak@drzak.us. Dr.
Yes.
Zach Kouloughi, Dr. Zakaria Kouloughi, thank you so much for talking to us. And we will be back in touch with you and looking for you on a next interview.
Well, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to appear to your audience, and I hope we'll do it again. Thank you.
Oh, we absolutely will, Zach. You're like one of my favorite people in the world. So my name's Kate Mullen. You've been listening to Boomer Nation. We're glad you're here. Dr. Zakaria Kouloughi, MD in Texas, DRZAK at drzak.us. Thanks everybody for being here, and we look for you next time on Boomer Nation.